Yeah.
It's like Old Trafford 3-0.
You see the hurt in your voice?
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
No, but that's my point. In terms of has he failed Man United? Yo guys, welcome back to the final whistle. Today, I've come to talk. I've come to a little counselling session. Okay? Right, so let me just speak for a second, right?
Do you want the pillow to talk?
I'm alright.
Okay,
I'm alright.
cool.
Listen, I'm at the point, me personally, where I am completely Ten Hag out. I'm done. I've tapped out. I've tried to be, his biggest supporter, but the performances aren't good enough. And at the moment, I'm not happy with him, and I've lost all confidence in what he can do for Man United. Will I sack him now? Well, I'm the reason why I'm not in the board, because I'll be too emotional. I probably would get rid of him because it's not good enough.
We've seen you on clubs.
We might,
They know.
he might get sucked into where Chelsea can actually finish above us. It's actually disgusting what's happening towards the end of the season. So I'm done. Now my question for the rest of the panel is: has Ten Hag failed Manchester United?
You know what? Can we let Raf go first? Because
Yeah.
he's a United fan. I want him to talk from your heart.
Yeah, I can talk.
Yeah, go on.
I mean, my position on Ten Hag and Man United hasn't changed from pretty much near the start of the season. From the first game in, was it against Wolves? Or whatever the first game, I think it was Wolves.
Wasn't it Brentford?
No, not this season, that was last
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant
But from the first game in, and from the first few games in, including, I remember the Tottenham game, the Arsenal game, the same problems were being exposed. And from the time in which I realised that it was the same thing happening over and over again, yes, we had injuries, but the manager couldn't fix the problems and adapt his style of play, or he wasn't willing to. That's when I said, you know what, he's not the guy that's going to take us to the title. When you look at the best managers in the world, who's the best manager in the world right now? Pep. How many times did he change his system in the season? Yeah. And that's with the best players in the world. And he has bought players that suit his style of play. Because people online will say, Ten Hag needs the exact player profile for each position. The best managers, yes, you go for that. But when you don't have that, you adapt.
You have to be realistic, man.
Pep does that and he still wins the title. Now, am I expecting Ten Hag to be as good as Pep? No, I'm not. However, I'm expecting us to go for the title. And I need a manager that can adapt their style of play. When you've got Casemiro playing in a high line and then having to run back, or even if he's sitting and everyone else is playing high up and he's being exposed by himself, of course he's going to look shit. When you've got Maguire, who is immobile, lacks agility, playing in a high line, when he goes in for the ball and he misses it, of course it's going to be an issue because he doesn't have the pace to get back. So what I expect from the manager, which is why he's disappointed me this season, is to say, you know what? Yes, this isn't really how I want to play. I don't really want to play Maguire. I've got a lot of injuries. But I expect him to be like, you know what? Results matter right now.
Bro.
So I'm going to change my style of play. We're going to play a deeper line because these players can't keep the ball. So I can't trust them to play a high line.
Yeah.
So, but then at the same time, I also, when I put emotion aside, I think about two things. Firstly, if we get rid of him, who comes in? And that's a conversation for another game, but that's why I wouldn't rush to get rid of him right now. And the second thing I think about is, well, we've tried sacking our manager over and over again, and it's not really worked. And now the structure above the manager is finally changing.
Yeah.
So if this is the manager, if the style of play that the manager wants and likes is the style of play that Ineos likes, then you keep him and you give him a chance.
So,
Go on.
I was going to say, so to Mike's question, has he failed you guys? What would you say?
I think in the context of this season alone, yes, he has, because we have a squad that's capable of getting top four.
Yeah.
We have a squad that's capable of beating Bournemouth.
Yeah.
We didn't beat Bournemouth when we faced them twice, bro. They beat
Yeah.
us at Old Trafford 3-0.
You see the hurt in your voice?
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
No, but that's my point. In terms of has he failed Man United, I can't say he has, because last season we actually did win a trophy. And this season, the only reason I say he's failing us this season is that we have the players to, one, finish higher on the table, and to actually get results up against the teams that we should be beating, right? I see in this first season that we lost to the teams like Brentford, we lost to Brighton, we lost to these small teams, and now this season we couldn't beat Bournemouth. We got beat by Fulham this season, didn't we? Like, we've been beaten by these teams that we should be beating, and we're not. And it's not like we have dead players. Like, look at Aston Villa, right? We can't say as Man United fans that they've got a better squad than us, because ultimately they don't.
Player for player.
Player for player, they don't. In terms of how they play, how Unai Emery has set them up, they're miles better than us. Miles better than us. And yes, I know I think we beat them this season, but they're still miles better than us, and the table shows it.
And even that game when we beat them, we scraped it.
Yeah.
Great.
The 3-2 one you're talking
Yeah.
about with Hoyland bagging his first goal in the Premier League, we scraped it.
And then,
Crying.
And then when like my biggest issue is that a lot of Man United fans, when we win a game in some joyous fashion, like a late minute goal, it's only papering over the crash. And I'm one of them. I get so jubilated and so happy when we win these games, but ultimately we shouldn't either win the games or we get lucky. At the end of the day, we get lucky.
And then sometimes you don't.
And then sometimes we don't.
Stamford
Chelsea
Bridge.
taken away from us. Liverpool conceded late. There was another game. Was
Arsenal,
it?
probably, maybe.
Well, yeah.
Brentford.
Recently, Brentford.
Brentford.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
all of these games, right? If Ten Hag can't muster up the team to, people say, it's the players' mentality. So who is it on then? It's the manager. He manages these players. Get these players thinking right and change it. But he can't do it. And ultimately, I'm done with him. I'm done with it.
Can I speak?
Look at him. He's excited to do it as well.
Do you know what it is, yeah? Only reason I'm loving it, yeah, is because first of all, I'm here for you guys. Yeah. First of all, let me just say that. Second, only reason that I like it is because this is stuff that I've been saying earlier on in the season, and I'm happy that you guys are finally sort of on board or on the same wavelength that look, Ten Hag is not good enough. And do you know what it is? I did say it last year, and I think it was when you and I jumped on the pod, and we were saying it, and we're like, I don't think Ten Hag is the guy. And you're
On
like,
the
what?
outro pod.
Yeah, and you guys are like,
Quick plug.
yeah, quick plug. And you were saying no, but we want a trophy. But this is what I'm saying. If you can't, first of all, you guys finished third last year. No, fourth.
Yeah, third.
Third. Oh yeah, just tipped Newcastle. Yeah. Third. How have you gotten worse?
You finished second. Just bold. But go on. Listening.
Okay, cool. No need to get emotional. Right? No, but look, how have you gotten worse? It makes no sense. When in terms of recruitment, yeah, I'm gonna touch on that later. But in terms of recruitment, Ten Hag first said he can't play the way he played at Ajax because he didn't have the players. But then he signed 4 ex-Ajax, 5 if you count Ericsson, ex-Ajax players who know the system, players who he's either coached himself or when you, it's the same with like Barcelona and Real Madrid, Ajax, these historic teams in their academies. They all play the exact same way. There's an ethos, it's clear as day. They all play the same way. They all know about possession-based football. They all know about interchanging in positions. So why has he now come out and said, I haven't got the players, but you've bought 5 players from Ajax? That's almost half of your starting 11.
I mean, I will say on that note, though, the players that he brought from the Dutch leagues, they haven't really been an issue.
Do you know? I think they have been. And the reason why I say
Tell
I
me
think...
who.
So I
From
think
Ajax has
from
been-
Ajax... Onana, I think
hasn't been an issue.
Now, let me land. Let me land.
He hasn't.
Let
That's
me land. I think Onana's been an issue. I think Anthony's been an issue. And I think, Ericsson, Martinez has been an issue for different reasons because he hasn't been fit and available, which is, something maybe look into your medical team. But in terms of the 2 bigger signings that you've made, Anthony, 95 million euros.
Anthony's the biggest issue.
50 million. Like, the thing is, if it's these are sort of like your cornerstone signings, if you will, in the same way that, when we talk about how you rebuild a team, you think, okay, I'm going to build my team around X, Y, and Z. You're going to have some sort of spine, whether there's going to be an attacker, that is your main attacker, your midfielder, who is, your marquee signing, or whoever that is going to really strengthen that midfield. And then you have a rocket defense. And then your goalkeeper as well. When you look at Liverpool, what did they do? They went and forked out an enormous amount for Alisson because they knew he's the best and we want him. And he's proven to be the best goalkeeper in the league for a number of years. They did the same thing with Van Dijk, 75 mil from Southampton. People are saying 75 mil, is he actually that good? They bought him. When you look at Mo Salah up front, obviously that one was a bit more, I guess, lesser profile because, we saw him at Chelsea a little bit. It didn't really do it. But it's a thing where you go for certain people and you say, no, this is going to be the cornerstone of my project and all that sort of stuff. Ten Hag hasn't done that. The players that he has brought in it's like he's taking chances on players that he knows, or he's doing nepotism. He's like, oh yeah, no, I'll work him, man. Yeah, bring him. It makes no sense.
I think going back to your point about the players he bought from the Dutch league being the problem, I really disagree with
Oh no, I don't think it's only the problem. I don't think they're the only problem.
I don't think they're the main problem at all. Because you mentioned that there've been an issue in terms of availability. Anthony near the start of the season, and you've got Martinez, I think has been our biggest miss this season.
Yeah, 100%.
However, the main problem from our team has come from, and you mentioned the style of play. You said, Ten Hag said he can't play a style of play because he doesn't have the players, yet he bought these players and now these players aren't playing well. Well, that means the issue about them being injured or not being available is a separate issue. In terms of them playing poorly, Anthony's been playing poorly, but this season, Anthony hasn't been the issue.
No, he hasn't.
He's been a scapegoat, but he hasn't been an issue.
Yeah,
the
but
issue in our team has been the balance in midfield and the struggle to keep possession of the ball. And the fact that we have defenders coming in off the bench to cover our injured players like Martinez,
Yeah.
and the players who come in do not have the agility or the pace to play this high line.
Last
of football.
year he was an issue. Last year Anthony was an issue.
I'm so happy that you brought up the fact about the imbalanced midfield because it's like you read my mind. It makes no, and this is another thing in terms of rebuilding a team. You have to realize that you have to sort of let go of your pride and trust in either things that have already been tried and tested in terms of, holding on to some people where, they can go, but because they can do a steady job and give you a 6.5 or a 7 every game or every other game, you kind of hold on to them for maybe...
McFred done it for time.
Exactly, and this is what I'm saying. So...
Oh no.
Ten Hag signings, yeah? I'm going to just go through the signings and then I'm going to go back to my point about the midfield. So, in his first year, he got Dubravka on loan from Newcastle, 2.3 mil. That's the loan fee. You got Anthony from Ajax. These are all in euros, by the way. I'm going to convert it to pounds later on. 95 million euros, Ajax.
Why did you put euros first?
You've done this.
No, I got it from Transfermarkt. That's why.
He's done this.
I got it from Transfermarkt. 70 mil euros, Real Madrid, Casemiro. 57 mil, Lisandro Martinez. For free, Ericsson from Brentford. And then Malacia, 15 mil. From Feyenoord. That was last summer. And then in January, you got Sabitzer on loan from Bayern Munich. You got Weghorst on loan from Burnley. And you got Butland on loan from Crystal Palace because I think you guys needed a backup keeper for whatever reason. Cool. You finished third last season and you got yourself a Carabao trophy. That's fine. It's a decent season. It's good. Now, this summer, you got Reguilon from Tottenham on loan. Amrabat from Fiorentina on loan, paying 9 mil.
Brother,
Cool. Bayinda from Fenerbahce. I'm not going to talk on him because he's like a backup keeper. He was not going to be the number one solution, so he's whatever. Cool. Højlund, 73.9 million from Atalanta. Cool. Anana from Inter, 50 mil. Cool. Johnny Evans from Leicester, free. Mason Mount from Chelsea, 64 mil. Cool. I'm not done. I don't think in January you guys didn't make any signings.
Nah.
Cool. Now, if you look at that list, how many midfielders did you get this summer? You got Amrabat and you got Mount. Yeah. That's it. Who did you guys let go of? You let go of Fred. You let go of Ericsson. You let go of...
You didn't let go of
We have Ericsson.
No,
Is he still
Ericsson's
there? He's still there?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's there. Cool. You got rid of Fred. And then this is the one point that is very vital in terms of when you're doing a rebuild. When you're doing a rebuild, you have to trust in your youth as well. Zidane Iqbal, Hannibal Medri, Daniel Gore, he got a bit of a look in. I don't know where he is now.
He's on loan.
He's on loan.
But they did trust in the youth though. Kobe Mainoo.
No, and that's the diamond in the rough. It's a thing where it's like similarly with Arsenal, how we struck gold with Bukayo Saka because if Bukayo Saka wasn't there, bro, we'd probably be still playing Pepe or what Reece Nelson or
Don't disrespect Pepito, bro.
no. But look, what I'm saying is, I don't think Ten Hag, his whole point about coming into United was that obviously at the time the hierarchy above him was unstable, and he said, you know what, I want to have a say in the transfers. We've been over this before. He wants to have a say in the transfers. I don't think you can name me 5 transfers over the last 2 summers, I'll say, that has actually worked. It makes no sense. When you're doing a rebuild, you can't just X out all of these players who have been consistent and good for you. Fred should have stayed.
Bro,
because
been saying
Fred
this for the longest.
Fred is a player who can do all the different jobs that you need in midfield.
Can't keep the ball though. But
But listen. Fred, one thing he will do is that he will give you passion.
Very useful right now.
He'll give you.
I'm not disputing that, but I think let's not drag it here.
I'm not dragging it.
And
but
when I say let's not drag it, like everyone knows my position on Ten Hag. I'm Ten Hag out.
100%.
However, firstly, I agree. He's definitely involved in those transfers. However, the transfer fee, that to me has nothing to do with the manager. As far as I'm concerned, that has nothing to do with the manager.
Do you really? I know obviously it has nothing to do with him, but as a manager, you know your resources. You have to think like,
They'll
bro,
take
exactly.
like bro,
like
like okay, Anthony, we're gonna keep pushing and going towards the €100 million mark. I'd rather just trust Ahmad and get someone else maybe.
And you know it is.
Could he not think like that? In my opinion.
And this is why I was like, it makes like
Anthony is so bad.
You've
man.
worked with him. You've worked with him for since he came from Brazil. Basically, you worked with him and you know his abilities, and you're telling me he's going to be worth a huge chunk, the majority of your transfer chest. That makes no sense.
He wasn't even putting numbers up like that in Ajax as well. That's the
There we
problem
go.
for me, because you know if you come to the Premier League, you need to have output as a wide forward now that we call it, because we don't really have out and out wingers anymore. But you need to have output when you come to the Premier League, and he signed him, and he's been so poor. But I agree with your point that we shouldn't keep banging on about Antony, etc. Because this season the main issue is not Antony.
It's not
It's
Anthony.
not.
And
No.
also, the thing is, the way I see it is, Ten Hag probably said, "I want Anthony," and they deal with getting with him and
Yeah.
coming in. Also, the price here, you have to remember, when they pay a price, they're taking into account the amount of money. They're taking into account the age of the player. Because when you look at Caicedo going to Chelsea for 100 and whatever million,
Yeah.
like we're not gonna say that oh, he's not worth it because what did he do at Brighton? No, it's the potential of the player. So, and at the time, when we signed Anthony, I'm not saying that everyone's like, yeah, this is a great signing, it's definitely worth 100. We all said it was expensive, but it's the fact that now he's played a bit that we know that, all right, cool, this wasn't a good signing. But at the time, you can understand it to an extent because he's 20 years old, coming into the Premier League. He was starting for Ajax. Okay, 90 million, 95. In today's market, you can understand it to an extent.
Yeah.
Has that worked out? No. But I can't say that the price is down to the manager.
Do you know what it is?
Yeah.
I think, and again, I don't want to bang on and continue saying Anthony. But in a rebuild, I think you're allowed one big fee that was a miss. Arsenal, Pepe, 70 mil. Not worth it at all. Liverpool, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, 40 mil. And I'm not going to say his one was a bit different because I think after his first injury, he just could not get back to fitness. And
Liverpool had a couple though.
do you know what I
Keita
mean?
didn't really.
Yeah, exactly. Keita didn't work out.
Who were the other players that you think Ten Hag himself wanted
That didn't work
that
out.
hasn't worked out?
Onana. And the reason why I say Onana, and look,
Really, I think that's so harsh, man.
No. I get why you think it's harsh.
Just
but
say you don't watch our games.
I do watch your games. I really do. And one thing that I've watched, I think is I've taken a bigger focus on watching United games. I think since the start of March, because I actually wanted to understand what is actually wrong with this team. Because on paper, it doesn't make sense in terms of the players you have and whatnot. And for Onana, I think it's a thing where yes, I get it. His centre halves maybe aren't the best on the ball. That's fine. But when you look at the goals that he's conceding, it's like it's always like his positioning is a bit off. That goal that he conceded, Dominic Solanke's goal, he was like
It's a good finish, though.
No. Don't get me wrong. It is a good
I
finish.
feel like maybe one that we can criticize him a bit more for is Gallagher's first goal against United. It's a couple ones where his position is poor.
Please take into account how many shots we take and
Yeah.
how much
It's peak.
how much
I can't
worse
lie.
it can
They
be.
have like no, it's so true, bro.
No,
They had like in the
Our
last
problem-
20 games they've had like 200 shots against them.
I
bro.
don't
No cap.
season.
Hold on, I don't want to focus
Moving
too
like
much
Chicago.
on, I don't want to focus too much on the transfers. For me at the moment, the reason why I'm completely Ten Hag out is solely on performance and the output that we've got. So I just want to recap what's happened this season.
Okay.
We've lost 12 games in the league this season. 12, right? We only have 15 wins and we've played 32 games so far during this recording, okay? Our lowest points tally was the 2013-2014 season. We finished on 64 points, right? This season, we are right at the moment, we are on 50 points, which means we can hypothetically finish lower than that in this season.
Was that with Moyes?
20, yeah, that was Moyes.
I think
before
you've done,
Van Gaal.
and I think you've done
Yeah.
lower. I think the lowest one was just before he joined under Ragnick. I think he even went lower there.
Before Ten Hag.
Yeah.
Before 10 out, we didn't finish lower than that. This was lower
Points
than that.
tally-wise.
I think we finished on the same at the end.
do you know-
And then we, at the moment, we are 32 games in. We've got about a month left of the season, and we are still on a negative goal difference. Manchester United Football Club, right? That's dreadful.
It's actually bad.
It's actually so bad, right? This season, as I said earlier, we've lost to Fulham, we've lost to Bournemouth. There's countless people that we've lost to that we shouldn't have lost to. Games where we shouldn't have lost. Games that maybe we should have drawn that we threw away. Okay? And sometimes I look at Ten Hag during the games and I'm like, bro, we can all see it. Fans. And you're the one that gets paid millions a week or millions a month, let's say, right? And we are sitting here saying that something needs to change. We should bring on this player to try and hold this lead. We should tell the players, just hold on to the ball. And I'm not saying that sometimes he doesn't tell them to hold the ball because we can see it's animated on the touchline.
Yeah.
But you are the manager. Week after week after week after week, we make the same mistakes. And the fact that you haven't changed it and it keeps happening is 100% on you. And I'm tired of it.
This is my thing as well, because as Max just said, we can talk about transfers, but that's narrowing down the way we play to individual performances and individual mistakes.
Yeah, as a team, you're poor.
As a team, we're not set up to play to the best of these players' abilities.
Can I say one thing? And this is the reason why I bang on about the transfers is because as a manager, I'd like to think this is how you'd approach, a project that you join. It's a thing where it's like, okay, cool, how have the team been playing? You obviously get all the data scientists, all the analytics about the performances, X, Y, Z, all that sort of stuff. And you're thinking, okay, cool, I have a picture in my mind of how I want my team to be. I'm going to get certain players that are going to, just fill in these pieces, and it's going to take maybe 2, 3, 4 years, however long. Cool. Transfers was the first step for me, because it's like, if you don't get the transfers right, then your tactic isn't necessarily going to be right. And I'm so glad you mentioned about the style of the playing and, you guys yourselves seeing obviously what is going wrong. I'm not going to call him incompetent. I'm not going to say that he's a bad coach because he's got all of his badges. I ain't got mine. I've only got level 1. Do you know what I mean? But
Little flex.
Little flex. Only thing I'm going to say about Ten Hag, is that, again, every game you guys, or at least you guys will concede a chance on a cutback at the edge of the box. How that hasn't been fixed, I don't get it. Because and I'm just going to say this because this is the one game that I obviously watched, Arsenal against Man United, Odegaard, when Rashford scored, Odegaard scored the exact same goal that you've conceded probably like 6 times this season. Yeah. It makes no sense for a coach to be so either, I don't know, arrogant or maybe it's naivety. I don't know what it is. The fact that, you've watched this game over the day after a football game. What usually happens if you don't have a rest day, if you report into training, usually your coach will show you film about the last game. He will talk about, look, guys, this is where we went wrong. And then the individual coaches, in terms of the performance coaches, will talk to, maybe the defenders and the midfielders, and they'll have one-on-one time with that said coach, aside of the normal training drills, to look over the game and be like, okay, cool, so what can we do next? What can we do next? It doesn't look like that's happening at Man United, because the same thing is happening over and over again. It makes no sense. On transition, you guys are the worst team in the league.
And that's my point. That's my point in terms of, that is why I'm tired of it, because we can't keep making excuses and blaming on individual player performances, saying that, and I'm not Rashford's biggest fan, but we can't keep saying that, he's just not pressing enough, he's not bothered. We can't keep saying, Casemiro's past it. We can't keep saying, all of our defenders are injured. Yes, these are reality. Yes, they might be true. However, certain factors that happen in the game constantly, game after game, we can't keep putting on the players. Because at this point, it's the manager and his stubbornness and not changing it and not seeing the problem and just doing what we all know is right to do.
But perhaps if we try and look at, Ten Hag with some lens of optimism and some positivity, at the end of the day, he won a trophy last season and he finished 3rd. And now he's, okay, fair enough, he's probably not going to get into the Champions League this season. But
we might not even make Europe this season.
Fair enough, but there's potential for him to win the FA Cup. And it's a chance. And you got to take your chances. And then if he does that now, the conversation is different.
Who's to even say we're going to beat Coventry? Like,
you might not.
I'm not even confident. That's what
you might not. But at the end of the day, he's got to that point, and I feel like you've got to give him the chance to at least try and win that trophy.
Give him the chance.
And then also on top of that, I think before Ten Hag came in, we all basically said, before it gets better,
it will get worse.
It's going to get worse. So this is it getting worse now. I feel give Ten Hag the chance for it to get better. At least for one season under new ownership next year. Give him that chance. If he's not doing well by January, suckered.
I've just lost all confidence. But anyway, guys, let us know in the comments. Have I been too harsh as a Man United fan? Should I be more optimistic? Should me and Raph be more optimistic? Has Mid and PB said something that is truthful? Do you agree? Let us know down in the comments. Make sure you follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, guys, yeah? And let us know in the comments anything that you want us to discuss on the next show. And Raph.
Tell a friend.
Peace.